Over the years, several X-Men characters have had a tradition of taking a few moments of rest and relaxation amidst the insane life of a superhero or X-Men character. And today, Marvel Comics is looking to sort of cash in on that nostalgic trend of having, individual X-Men really kind of get to know each other on a personal level with a brand new series. My name is Ariko Braddock, and today let's go ahead and dive deep into X-Terminators #1 to see just how far this creative team can really kind of advance the relationships between Dazzler, Jubilee, and Boom-Boom. Also, just because a series can kind of evoke those nostalgic feelings of the past, maybe doesn't mean that they always should. But before we get any deeper into the video, I want you to consider subscribing to the channel if it's your first time checking out our content and you haven't hit that subscribe button already. And since you're already here, why not go ahead and hit the like button as well? Without further ado, let's go ahead and introduce the creative team for X-Terminators #1. This issue is written by Leah Williams, illustrated by Carlos Gómez, colored by Bryan Valenza, and lettered by VC's Travis Lanham. The cover for the series is illustrated by Federico Vicentini. Next up, want to go ahead and read you the solicitation text for the issue. Enter the Grindhouse of X. When Jubilee and Boom-Boom agree to take Dazzler out for a night on the town to console her after her nasty breakup, they have no idea where they're about to be kidnapped and put into elaborate death traps for their efforts. What are three girls with the power to blow things up to do? Leah Williams and Carlos Gómez put the X in eXploitation in this tale of blood, sweat, and revenge. And next up, I want to go ahead and show you the preview for X-Terminators #1 from adventuresinpoortaste.com. So here's a look at this cover from Federico Vicentini. And I wanted to go ahead and just talk a little bit about this issue as a whole. In case you can't tell just from this opening page, this X-Terminator series does a really fantastic job kind of piling on the humor alongside some of the supernatural elements of the comic book. However, what I really found was that as the series progresses, there was more of a focus on some of those supernatural elements that started to cause sort of an imbalance in the story. Also, a lot of the jokes in this script that readers are likely meant to find funny left me groaning at times because there were several moments where I was waiting for, the creative team to really push past some of the cliches they've introduced to kind of spin a cliche into a new direction that really enhances, the overall story. This page in particular, I had a little bit of a problem with due to, Dazzler unceremoniously telling her boyfriend that all he had to do was kind of keep it in his pants for 1 week. And the ex-boyfriend responds by saying, "Come on, baby, don't be like this." Now, I mean, that's more or less how the situation should be handled. It's just a little bit disappointing to kind of see like something in that context in an X-Men series where, I want to see kind of more complicated nuance or character relationships because people like Dazzler have frankly been around for a long time and probably have, an extensive sense of dating history at this moment. And it just makes moments like these where she's kind of like lashing out in a fit of rage and kind of throwing his records at him a little bit less believable overall, kind of as the series progresses. And when the issue kind of harkens back to some of those older X-Men stories and starts layering on the supernatural elements, the series really kind of starts to fall apart. The best part of the script overall is kind of when the girls first are able to unite and start drinking at the bar. There's really kind of fun moments and a really good sense of energy that's captured here. But as the night starts to go on and our characters become a little bit more inebriated, the story really begins to miss that sense of clarity that it really could have utilized. Now, I think it's fantastic for Marvel not to layer on the stakes for every single story that they do, but I would have liked to see either, more of a character focused issue that had kind of less supernatural elements, or maybe something that had just a little bit more plot to keep me engaged in the issue overall. There's still a lot of room for Leah Williams and Marvel to expand on this series in future issues. The entire cast is barely introduced in the scope of this kind of, first script here. So it definitely could improve, along the way. Now, the artwork I liked a little bit, but I had a few reservations with how some of the faces are drawn across the different characters in the issue. If I'm just looking at the faces alone in this scene, I can even start to lose track of who some of the individual characters are. Now, a little bit later in the issue, when Jubilee and Dazzler and Boom-Boom start to get their own kind of unique outfits when they kind of go out for their night on the town, the issue is definitely a little bit more legible and easier to comprehend, who is at what moment of the comic. And also, I think that Carlos Gómez does a really fantastic job drawing so many different background elements on the page. This page in particular is a really fantastic example because of all the frames and windows in the background, and also just kind of the way the vinyl hits the floor on this panel here. I think also does a good job kind of highlighting how strong Gómez is at drawing motion in comics. So overall, I don't think this is, a particularly bad issue in any sense. It could definitely develop over time, but the series is at kind of a strange middle ground, because as of right now, I'm a little bit unsure if this series at large is more focused on maybe plot going down the road or the characterization of the kind of three girls in the issue. So those were my thoughts on X-Terminators #1. Did you like this issue more than I did? What do you want me to go ahead and review next? Thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.